Hey guys, it's Wisdom with Weston, episode 97. Let's get into it. Okay, I only got 3 minutes. I have a lot to talk about. Let's read. This is Hebrews 10. It says, "For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and the very image of the things, can never, with these same sacrifices, which they offer, what continually, year after year, make those who approach perfect." Meaning, anybody who's ever offered anything year by year, you cannot be perfected by them. I'll show you. It says, "For then it would have not ceased to be offered." That's the question. Why? "For the worshippers, once purified, would have no more consciousness of sin. But in those sacrifices, there is a reminder of sins every year in their conscience, because they are sinners and they still have to do this every year." And it says, "For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats could take away sins." Let's keep moving. "And every priest stands ministering daily, offering the repeated same sacrifices, which can never what? Take away sins. But this man," who's the man Jesus, "after he had offered one sacrifice for sins, what? Forever, sat down at the right hand of God, from the time waiting till his enemies are made a footstool. For one by one, for by one offering he perfected those who are what? Being sanctified." And at the very bottom of chapter 10, it says here, "Now the just shall what? Live by faith." People who are justified by faith, they shall live by faith. "But anybody who draws back, my soul has no pleasure in him." Then it says, "But we are not who? Those who draw back to perdition," meaning those are people who cannot believe the truth or do not want to believe the truth. "We are those who believe to the saving of a soul." Okay, we're making good time. Got a minute and a half left. What does this mean? It means that the law could never save. People who have to continually make sacrifices means that their conscience says, "I'm a sinner because I've sinned. I'm not perfect." Everybody will say in this world, "I'm not perfect. I'm not." Of course you're not. But the Bible says to get into heaven, you must be perfect. That's the standard. That's as black and white as it can be. Jesus offers himself one time because he's perfect and he has no more remembrance of sin or conscience of sin. He never had sin to begin with. That's why he's a perfect sacrifice. That's why he's God, because only God could fulfill a law. Only God could walk perfectly and never sin. At the bottom of this chapter, people use this chapter in Hebrews 6 and 10 to talk about you can lose your salvation. That's not what those chapters mean at all. Paul literally says, "Now the just shall live by faith, but those who draw back, my soul has no pleasure with them, because they draw back to perdition." But we are those. He separates those and us. We are those who believe, meaning there's two different groups here: people who draw back and those who believe. Those people never believed to the saving of a soul, meaning they never believed in the first place. They could not. The whole book of Hebrews, here's the wisdom. The whole book of Hebrews is written to Hebrews who are either saved or struggling or going back and forth between the Mosaic law, meaning that's their culture. That's how they live. A Gentile would never do this because a Gentile wasn't raised under the Mosaic law. That's why it's easier for us to believe by faith versus by works. I'll see you in the next one.